What's up, guys? It's Birchmel Video here. So I think I'm gonna start a new segment on this channel. It's gonna be pretty much should you get a vehicle? Now, whatever vehicle it is will depend on the video, obviously. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So with this first video, I'm gonna do one vehicle. It's gonna be one vehicle per video, and I'm gonna start off with, you know, my current vehicle. As you guys know, is a 2004 Nissan Titan. So that's this video. Should you buy a Nissan Titan? This will cover all the Nissan Titans in general. Alright, so first off, obviously, the first question is, do you like it? You know, do you like how it looks? Have you test drove it? Do you like how it drives? This and that and the other. What all is wrong with it? So, and if you do, I want to just inform you guys, as I have in previous videos, what can go wrong with these trucks, or realistically with any vehicle. But from my personal experience, I have had several things go wrong with my Titan in the past 2.5 years that I've had it. So, and I'm going to tell you guys what that is, obviously. But keep in mind, my vehicle was rode very hard with its first owner. They bought it off the dealership lot back in the day, and it was rode very hard for several years. And then my grandparents bought it and barely drove it. And then when I got it, everything kind of hit it all at once, you know. So first off, they are, let's see here, I'm not sure if they're aluminum block. I'm pretty sure they are. Pretty sure they're aluminum block. Even if they are cast iron block, they have aluminum heads, which means that they can heat up quickly and they can cool down quickly, which, you know, is good for cold weather and hot summers, you know, cooling down quicker and heating up faster in the wintertime, you know. However, it only takes one time. I've been using spray paint. It only takes one time for that thing to get warm. And when it does, it can, not necessarily, but it can, and it did in my case, it can warp one of the heads just enough to open up the head gasket enough to where it was letting coolant in, and it opened it up on the inside in the middle of the V, you know. It opened it up on this side, so it was filling in, going in with the air to fuel mixture, which is making it smoke like a steam train. And, you know, I went through a lot of coolant, had no power, and it got worse and worse the more it did it, and the more it did it, the faster it was, the easier it was to warm up. So I ended up warping both heads, and that was pretty much just trying to get back to the house anyway. This was all happened within about 2 weeks. So you got a little bit of time if it starts doing that, you know, but not very long. So I ended up having to put a whole new motor in it after it also sat for a while. So you guys could probably just get a head gasket fix and do it yourself, or have someone else do it or whatnot. Another problem is the rear end. I mean, yeah, they're kind of strong, but if you're really hard on them, like you do burnouts, unless it's a Pro 4X, you do burnouts, it's got an open differential, alright? So what that means is your passenger side tire is going to spin really fast for a few seconds, and then all of a sudden it's going to put power to the other side, and it's going to bang real hard. You'll feel it too. And then the other tire will start to spin, like if you're doing burnouts or whatever. Not one of my better ideas, obviously. Well, I did that 2 or 3 times, no big deal. It was when I was driving it sensibly, going to work one morning, it popped about once or twice. I didn't think nothing of it. I thought it was U-joints, so I went and bought some U-joints for the drive shaft. And, well, I drove home and it popped a few more times. And I was like, man, what is it? You know, trying to do my research and everything. And then it did it the next morning, and it popped really hard. And when it did, it shut the motor off. And so I pulled over to the side of the road, popped it in neutral. It was rolling, started it back up, put it in drive, and it didn't move. I put a block out of the back of my truck behind the back wheel and left it in drive and got underneath it and seen the drive shaft was just spinning. I thought that I busted something in the transmission, but when I went to the back of the truck, I could hear the little spider gear rolling around as it was getting hit by the ring gear in the rear end. So you got to look for that kind of stuff, and whenever you tear that apart, they're very expensive. Of course, it was an income tax season, so I spared no expense on that truck. I put almost $1,200 into the rear end with a new axle shaft, all new bearings and seals and races, which are about $80 or $90 for both of them, and then a couple $100 for the axle shaft, and then what else did I have to get? The chunk, the carrier, you know, and I got a Yukon gear, which was about $600, and then I got the OEM 336 gear, which 3357 gear is actually what's in it, and mine's the heavy half. So I put that in there with a new ring and pinion gear that was OEM, because when you replace one, you have to replace both, otherwise it'll wear them out. So the ring gear had chunks taken out of it, so we had to pull that out and pull the pinion out, new pinion seal. We actually had to get a new yoke. So yeah, it was just rough. Now, that's the negatives so far that I have with my vehicle. I haven't had transmission problems yet. But now to the positives. Alright, the power put down in these trucks is nothing shy of phenomenal. Now, even for the stock versions of these things, the throttle response is there. When you hit the pedal, you're moving. Now, since I have really open exhaust, my pedal sinks just a little bit before it starts to take off, as does any vehicle with straight pipes or really open exhaust or whatever. Any vehicle does that, but it still has really good throttle response. And they have a 90-degree V8, so when the air goes into the throttle body like such, and they spin around, and it spins around and goes straight down. Instead of like a 5.3, it'll go in and kind of go like that because it's a 60-degree V8. So it makes the power put down really good. So the power and torque rating for my truck, which is 2004 to 2008, I believe, maybe 2006, but I'm pretty sure it's 2008, is for the 5.6 liter, which is all that comes in them, is 305 horsepower, which I know doesn't sound like a lot, and 367 pound-foot of torque, which is 2 more pound-foot of torque than the Chevrolet, or GMC, one of its competitors, you know. Not that you really feel it that much of a difference, but you know, that's your ratings for it, you know. But you know, even with all the bad stuff that's happened, I do still like it. You know, it's and honestly, mine with the programmer, of course I have a programmer, I run 93 Performance tune on it, but I'll turn the timing up when I'm like racing or something like that, but other than that I leave it. And with an exhaust leak, I have a really bad exhaust leak on both exhaust manifold gaskets, which is also another thing with stock headers. Those trucks are notorious for cracking the exhaust manifold, so that's something you need to kind of watch out for. Not all of them do it, but a lot of them do. I've read a lot about them on this kind of stuff, so that's something you got to be prepared for. If you want to, you can pay and put headers on them, which is actually what I wanted to do, but I don't want to put that kind of money into it anymore, so I'm not really worried about it. But you can if you want to. It's a pain in the hind end to get in there to them, but you could always have a shop do it that does exhaust. You know, I'm sure they'll be happy to get the hours, because it's not going to be cheap. But so also what you guys kind of need to watch out for is turning radius and blind spots on these trucks. Now, going from my single cab short wheelbase GMC, my 99 model, with a 5.3, I love that truck, wish I'd never got rid of it. Going from that to this, the turning radius is not nowhere near as good, and the blind spots are terrible. Like the pillars right beside the windshield is the worst spot, but I have tow mirrors, so my blind spots on the side of the truck and behind aren't near as bad because I folded the little bitty mirror out because it's convex, you know, so it covers all down the side of my truck enough to where all I gotta do is look out my back glass and I don't have any rear blind spots or side blind spots. So if you got one, I strongly suggest that you get the tow mirrors, the heavy half tow mirrors for these trucks. They will do you wonders. But so if you have these trucks, you know, they're not bad, obviously, as you know, I'm sure. Or if you hate it, you know, that's just not what you want. You should probably sell it. So me personally owning one, I would say if it's new, has low miles, and has only had a one owner, sure, go ahead. You probably won't have any problems with it. Other than that, I'd steer clear of them. Now, that doesn't mean that I think they're bad. For me, it's done everything I've wanted it to do, work-wise and performance-wise. It's been a phenomenal truck for that, for working, like I said, working in performance. But just, I mean, like, there's been so many times where I couldn't park in a spot because it was hard to turn, or you almost hit somebody, or someone almost hits you because of the blind spots. So realistically, I'd probably just steer clear of one. I probably won't ever get one again. I might if it's a new one, but I probably won't. But ultimately, the choice is up to you all. So if you want one, get one. I'm not saying don't get one. I'm saying that I'm probably not going to get another one, you know. So if you want one, get one. If you don't, the hell with it, you know. Get you a Chevrolet or GMC or Ford or Dodge or whatever you want, or Ram, you know. But I think that's all we got for this upload, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe. My friends' channels, links will be in the description. Make sure you guys check them out, show them some support, and stay tuned for my next video. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Get ready, hit it.